Hi, friends. I want to talk about a fascinating concept that I studied in positive psychology. The concept illustrates how the way you hold yourself, the way you carry yourself, the way you interact with the world, not just affects your physical body, your physical health, but it actually affects your mind and your nervous system. Scientists have been researching the connection between the mind and the body. What we do know is that posture affects our mind, right? So when we move through life, it's not just about the way we hold ourselves and how aligned we are, but that it actually belies how we're feeling inside and what we're thinking sometimes. Back in the 19th century, William Benjamin Carpenter and Thomas Laycock proposed the idea of the ideomotor theory. The ideomotor theory talks about how before we take a certain action, the mind actually deliberates over it. So, if you're reaching for a glass of water, the mind actually deliberates on the actions you're about to undertake before you take the action. Um, but it happens so quickly. It happens in a fraction of a second, and it happens at a very subconscious level. So we're not really consciously aware that our mind is actually thinking about reaching for the glass of water, bringing it close to the lips, and drinking from it. It all happens at a really rapid pace. Regardless, it displays the connection between the mind and the body. Therefore, posture isn't just about how we move, it's actually about our mindset as well. And science has shown that the way we carry ourselves signals to our body and our mind and our nervous system how we are in fact feeling. For instance, if you're standing tall and your shoulders are rolled back and your feet are firmly planted onto the earth, you may give off the sign of being someone quite confident, right? People will perceive you as a confident person. Meanwhile, if you're slouched over and your shoulders are contracted and you've got a little hunch in your back, you may be feeling sad, depressed, or may have some self esteem issues in that moment. Neuroscientists and psychologists have studied the mind body connection for years. And what they have found is that standing tall with an open heart, a lifted chin can actually trigger physiological changes that promote relaxation and confidence. This is the signal that the nervous system is receiving. In contrast, the contracted poses where we're hunching over actually signal to the body that you're feeling small, you're shrinking inside. Regardless of the science, this is a very valuable thing for us to know in how we show up for ourselves. Think about the moments in your life when you have felt very happy, very victorious. Imagine your graduation ceremony, right? A sense of achievement and how your body seemed at that time when you look at old photographs. It's a lot of open heartedness, it's a lot of chin lifting, big smiles. Whereas when you've had moments of feeling defeated, feeling sad, feeling less than, you can recall how your body looked in those moments, what posture your body was taking, right? So we don't have to fake confidence. We don't have to power pose our way through life. But knowing this information is very critical and it's very important because it helps us understand that in times when we are feeling despair or we are feeling sadness and we may be trying to lift our energy up from the inside, we may not always be successful or it may take us longer. So, in those events, to just sit with a lot of confidence, to really root your feet down into the earth, to roll your shoulder blades back, to breathe deeply, to connect with your belly as you're breathing the oxygen into the belly, can start to signal the nervous system that you are relaxed, that you're confident, that you're okay, that you're in charge, that you have a sense of control. These are very critical things to know. In the process of taking on the postures, all the open hearted postures, right? And then we're holding that posture for a little bit. We're breathing about 5 to 8 times in that posture, or the warrior poses where your feet are firmly rooted, your arms are wide open, your fingertips are reaching in the opposite directions. There's an expansiveness to those poses. And when you're engaging pranayama or you're engaging deep breath while you're holding the pose, it's actually influencing the way your nervous system is feeling in that moment, which is why no matter what mood you entered the yoga class with, you're likely to leave with a much different mood, a much better mood, a much more lifted mood. I have found even in the chair pose, for instance, though that is a slightly taxing pose, it's not necessarily an open-hearted pose as such, but it's a strengthening pose. It's an empowering pose. And holding that pose also gives you the message to your nervous system that even if you feel like you're at the end of your rope, you have the energy, you have the strength to sustain, to hold steady, to breathe through this as well. And this is not about fake it till you make it, or it's not about, faking your feelings. Rather, it's about becoming aware of the fact that you have that agency, that you have that sense of empowerment, you have that control, that you can actually dictate to yourself, that you can consciously take a decision that if for any reason you're feeling a certain way, taking on an empowered pose can actually affect the way that you're feeling, and you may feel differently, which will be more in alignment with the pose that you're taking. So the next time you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling defeated, you're feeling stressed, take a moment. Stand in mountain pose. Ground your feet, or if you're seated, just really feel your feet onto the earth. Let your spine be erect. Relax your shoulders. Lift your chin up a little bit and breathe into your belly. Perhaps it opens a doorway to feel gratitude for something, especially when you're feeling low. And sometimes, gratitude has a beautiful chain reaction. The moment you start feeling grateful for something, you inevitably think of something else that you feel grateful for, and suddenly the mood starts to shift. It starts to change and you feel differently. So try it out. This is a little practice tip to change your mood, to alter your mood without reaching for any substance. Just creating the environment, creating the circumstances, creating the conditions within yourself to alter the mood that you're in.